Masahiro Sakurai hints that he might be done making Smash Bros. Games after Ultimate. Let's talk about it.
Block content.
What's happening, my Blocked buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content's Leak Speak. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. It might be a sad day today. We actually get to talk about Masahiro Sakurai talking in his column about basically no guarantee that he'll be making more Super Smash Bros. Games after Smash Bros. Ultimate. Of course, we all kind of saw this coming. He pretty much always says after every game, I mean, the Brawl days were like pretty much, oh yeah, this is going to be my final game. But this time with Ultimate, it does kind of feel different, right? It's this huge game. It's every single character from every single game ever in there. And of course, all Smash fighters that were in every single Smash game together, everyone is here. It does feel like this might be the end for Sakurai and maybe someone else will take over, or it will basically get halted and they'll work on something else. And I get to talk about everything like that today. And there are a lot of theories, there are a lot of things, and there are a lot of quotes from Sakurai that we're actually going to be reading. And I've been reading many of you guys' questions about Smash Ultimate and new fighters in our show Question Blocked, where I answer your question. What do I think of your favorite game? How do you start making videos on YouTube? Well, whatever you can think of, send your question through to blockedcontentmail@gmail.com, and I will answer your question live on the show in our next Question Blocked episode. And here's a brand new giveaway. You can win one of these Super Mario surprise capsules from Tomy. Any Mario item, Yoshi, character could be inside. I leave them closed so you can find out when you win. I'm giving away 4 of these, so remember to like this video, subscribe to Blocked Content right now, and comment down below to enter for the giveaway. Alright guys, let's get into the main topic of today, and it actually comes from Event Hubs. Yes, and this is another translated article from one of Masahiro Sakurai's columns, and that has been getting a lot more interesting now that this whole idea of the world basically coming to an end has come to pass. Sakurai has a lot of thoughts about that, and a lot about, you know, the game industry basically being turned on its head, and every other entertainment industry too. So this pandemic basically opened Sakurai up for a whole lot more quotes about Smash Ultimate, it basically ending, and, you know, just like any other video game, the future being uncertain. So this comes from eventhubs.com, and it was posted by Justin Gordon, and it says, Masahiro Sakurai says, "There's no guarantee. I'll keep making games after Smash Bros. Ultimate." So listen, he's saying games. He's not saying Smash games. He's just literally saying games. That is already interesting to me. So in the latest Famitsu column, Masahiro Sakurai mentioned how the global pandemic has essentially delayed the presentation of a new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fighter with a certain publisher and other negative effects on the game development industry. Of course, that wasn't all that was discussed by Sakurai during this column. While speaking with Yamamoto of Famitsu, Sakurai mentioned that he currently doesn't have any plans after development on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's DLC has wrapped up. When asked about whether or not Sakurai plays Western games, Sakurai responded, "Of course, I do. Overseas have a lot of games with photorealistic graphics, and there's really no way to beat that. So I feel like you have to overcome those games in other areas instead. You have to beat your rivals in some way. So if you don't have something in your game which people cannot find anywhere else, they're not going to buy it." He goes on to say, "That's how I approach game development whenever I start a new project," continued Sakurai. "Though honestly, there's no guarantee I'll keep making games after this. Right now, all I'm thinking about is the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC development. Once that's done, I actually have absolutely nothing lined up." Before the global outbreak, it was estimated that the Fighters Pass Volume 2 would be completed by December 2021, or at the very latest, January of 2022. It's currently unconfirmed how these plans will be affected by the current events. At the moment, Sakurai is unsure if the series will continue after DLC is wrapped up, and notably, Sakurai is adamant about seeing the project through, as it began as the final mission given to him by the late Satoru Iwata. Even if the Super Smash Bros. Series should continue, Sakurai believes that the "everyone is here" theme will only be able to happen just this one time. He also alluded to the possibility that there might someday be an entry that he's not involved in. Of course, Sakurai isn't outright saying that he plans on retiring from game development after Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's just that he merely doesn't have anything planned once development of DLC has wrapped up. Who knows what the future will hold? A special thanks goes out to Nicholas Majin Tenshinhan Taylor for his translations and contributions to this article. Now, a lot of interesting tidbits and information about this article as a whole, because I think what's more interesting than just the news of Sakurai not knowing if he wants to continue is him saying he plays a lot of Western games and that photorealistic graphics are a thing from Western games. And of course, yes, with all the Assassin's Creeds and the Call of Duties and of course games like Grand Theft Auto, and the bigger the games get, the more photorealistic they get on our side of the shores. But for Japanese developers, that means we have to do something different in the grand scheme of things. Maybe the wonder, maybe the fantasy of everything has to be bigger. And for Sakurai, for Smash Bros. Ultimate, it meant everyone is here, right? Or else they're not going to buy it. You need to have something that no one else has. He literally says you have to beat your rivals in some way. It doesn't even have to be the same way, so you don't have to compare to them in their exact real way, but you have to beat them in your own unique way. So if you don't have something in your game which people cannot find elsewhere, they're not going to buy it. So he's basically saying, I approach game development from a very simple point, right? I want to offer something new to people. And what is that new thing? And could they be finding that elsewhere? And with Smash Bros. Ultimate, that was ultimately the goal. And now that he's seeing, yes, there are a lot of people that are doing games like this. There are these big party games, these fighters, but at least Smash Bros. Has the big crossover event thing, right? So that makes him think, if there was a next Smash Bros. Game, would I even be involved? And what could be the reason to make a new Smash game? I mean, Smash Bros. Ultimate, it's in the name in the American version, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Everyone is here. It's the ultimate version of the game. And where do you go from an ultimate version, right? Well, a lot of people are thinking maybe the evolution of the Smash Bros. Series isn't looking beyond Ultimate and bigger, it's building upon Ultimate, right? Using this game that we have that everyone seems to love and using it as a framework to build upon. Of course, it does mean you'll have to get the rights for all those different characters and those third parties because they probably only signed for this one particular game. So that gets very interesting, but also what he could be doing after this is retiring and leaving the franchise in other one's hands, right? It could actually be passed on to a younger developer down at Nintendo that does the mainline Mario games, or even someone from the Zelda team. At this point, we don't even know. It could even be a third-party developer, as Sakurai and Sora Limited are technically like a second-party developer for Nintendo. But what I think could be immensely interesting as well is that the Smash Bros. Series would continue and be rebranded or be something completely new. One of which would be a Super Smash Kart series, so it wouldn't be directly tied or comparable to Sakurai's earlier work, and a new director would make sense. Maybe a director that was familiar with that franchise or that specific way of gaming, that kind of style. So maybe someone who's done racing games or an F-Zero game, or maybe they could be doing a Super Smash Bros. Game in full 3D. Yes, a third-person game that you basically roam around the map and quite like an adventure mode style with a map, but then have that be the gameplay. A lot of people have been waiting for Smash Bros. To make the turn to 3D, and of course a lot of purists really wanted to stay 2D and very much focused on what we know, and there's other people, and I think myself included, that want the franchise to kind of change up a little bit through the times. So Sakurai talking about this, he says, though, honestly, there's no guarantee I'll keep making games after this. So not even original cool Sakurai projects, or not even a Kid Icarus sequel. Well, I'm really stumped and I'm not really sure how to feel about all of this, right? In a time where everything's uncertain, even Sakurai's uncertainty feels like a little bit too much. So I'd love to hear if you guys have any thoughts on this. What do you think would be next for Masahiro Sakurai if he were to make a new game? If you comment down below, that could actually be featured and read out loud in our next video. And today's comment question is, what do you want Sakurai to work on next? And you can also say a vacation, right? And as for a previous comment question winner, our answer comes to us from Terry Silvertson, saying, I really want Shantae to be a DLC fighter in Smash Ultimate as the indie character that joins the roster. She would have her hair whips, magic attacks, and animal transformations. Shantae is becoming very popular, even in Japan. Lots of Japanese Smash Ultimate players have created lots of Shantae stages in Stage Builder, and I know Nintendo knows about all the custom stages that are uploaded, and I think Nintendo knows about Shantae's rise in popularity. They even have promoted Shantae during the 3DS days, so I'm sure Shantae will be a DLC fighter despite the fact that her half-genie hero design is a spirit in the game already. Also, it's Nintendo. They can make whatever decision that they want. Well, Terry, I really need to dive a little bit more into those games. I've seen a little bit of it and I've played one of the games, I think on Game Boy Color, and I've actually liked it so much, but I really want to dive into the rest of that franchise to kind of see what would her moveset be. But, believing you, I would say, yeah, there's probably a lot of precedent for Nintendo actually including the character. And of course, a huge shout out to our latest Patreon supporters and the super chats during our live streams. You guys make block content absolutely possible. So if you want to have yourself created in pixel art, join us for discussions, or even have your own ideas become animations, go to patreon.com/blockedcontent. There's a bunch of incredible rewards there, and they're waiting for you. And remember, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, hit subscribe now, smash that like button, and ring the bell for notifications, and all the news and fun you care about will be delivered on the daily to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more Blocked Content. See ya.